Nope.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Hey.
Happy Monday.
Hey, happy Monday, Rebels.
Hi,
Welcome to
everyone.
Star Wars Rebels Revisited.
And
Good to see you guys.
and apparently tell everyone what else week it is. This is news to
Yes.
me.
So on Instagram, it is officially Star Wars Rebels Week. So we want you to join us in celebrating this week. It's making our show this week even more special than it usually is. Um, So if you guys can, like, share in the comments, share like your favorite Rebels items, collectibles, what you got, um, any episodes that you like. We want to hear from you. So make sure you drop those in the comments.
I'm excited about anything celebrating Rebels. So like I don't use Instagram all the time. I'll usually post about the show and anything that's like De Novo related or whatever. Sometimes I'll put some photos if I went somewhere, but I'll try to put some stuff up because I worked on a lot of product for Rebels during my time at
Yes.
Tops, but then I've got my personal stuff too. I was just showing you, this is from Ruby's before I started working there, the lightsaber,
Love
the
it.
Ezra lightsaber, which there aren't that many of these. Like I feel like it's the only one. So I got to put up some little pieces from my personal collection too.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I have a lot of Rebel stuff. Like this t-shirt, the daughter, the brother, the daughter, the son, and the father
Yeah,
hands. I got my Loth cat back here, Kanan.
nice.
I have the Syndulla family Calicori that I got from Galaxy's Edge. That's just a fraction of the Rebel stuff I have floating around this apartment.
I
Currently
think
in
you and I
boxes.
could like open a museum for sure.
Seriously, we could. I believe
I'm
it.
I was doing a lot of rewatching because of our listicle that we have for next week.
Yes.
And I was sort of getting deep into seasons 3 and 4 and just remembering just like what an incredible show this is. And just how it kind of didn't get its roses when it was on the air the first go around. And I was starting to feel bitter about it. And I was like, but you know what? I was like, we're doing it now. Like we're gonna make sure that
Yeah.
everyone knows what a great show it is, and because of all the additional streams of content that are coming, it seems like people are going to go back and rewatch it. It's easily accessible on Disney Plus. It's part of the Star Wars collection stuff. So,
And they have
yeah,
amazing shorts too, which are
yeah,
a lot of fun to watch.
yeah, those are
Um,
really cute.
it's not
Rancho
just
Rebels. Oh my God,
yes.
Dave, that'd be awesome. Oh, hi, Jeff. So,
Hey Jeff.
so Jeff had is not producing tonight, but we'll just say hello. I'm glad you're watching along. Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, we're glad you're feeling better. We're
And
rooting for you, buddy.
we've got Dave. Dave is producing us tonight. Um,
The wonderful Dave.
and I know that, and he was just on Unifying Force on Sunday, so he's been busy. I have not watched that one yet, though. I was supposed to watch yesterday, not live. I was out during the day, but I was going to watch it last night, and I got caught up in like a slew of other things that were like sort of work related, sort of random, and then before you know it, it evaporates, and Monday morning, here we go, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's that Sunday blues that you're just like, oh my God, this weekend is over way too fast.
Yeah. At least this is a 4-day week. I'm taking Friday off because I'm going down to Asbury for Labor Day weekend, and then we have Monday off for
Nice.
Labor Day. So,
Sweet.
which is why our show next week is a pre-record. We'll talk about that as we dive into everything. But yeah, are you doing any? I know you're moving, so is that's like the big
Yeah.
focus?
Oh, the big focus, yes. I have books, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, art supplies, all that stuff left to pack clothes.
Hmm,
But the majority of my stuff seems to be ready to go. It's just, yeah, just last shifts at the day job
yeah.
and trying to get my Star Wars Celebration London concepts finished before I leave here. So that way they're just
Hmm,
all plotted out and
right.
can go from there.
I'm packing up the Rebels Museum.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
We should do I think we talked about this already, like a consumer products episode at some
Yeah.
point where and we do a show and tell. We give everyone a good amount of heads up. Maybe close to Christmas. Like we
Yeah,
do
that'd
it
be
as like
fun.
a unwrapping, unboxing, like Christmassy kind of thing, like show us your toys kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or at least like your favorite thing in your collection. It'd be hard for I think us two to like narrow down. But
Eh.
maybe it's another top 10 list.
Yeah, it's a listicle of all our
Yeah.
favorite Rebel stuff. Yeah.
That'd be really fun. What is
Yeah,
Sherry
that would be
saying? She
fun.
has a sling backpack. Oh, that's cool.
Ooh, very cool.
The toy version of Kanan's lightsaber. I think I have one of those also. Yeah, the Ezra one that I was just showing is super well done. I mean, this is from Ruby's. It's a Halloween costume item. Like it's not, it's a
They
one of
still
the,
sell those at I think it's still available in the Disney parks. So like at
it might
the
be.
Trading Post, yeah,
Yeah.
because somebody just posted pictures from there in the Galaxy's Edge Trading Post group that I'm part of,
I gotta
and
get
I was
down
just
there.
like, how did I miss this? It's got the Rebels like logo on it. I was
Oh,
like,
I love
wow, it's
that.
all official, and ah,
Anything officially licensed Rebel, scoop it up because those
mm-hmm,
things, like anything Star Wars 2 tends to like sell out and then you never know when it's coming back.
right.
Um,
But I feel like it's more so with Rebels, like,
Yeah. Now that we're going to be, I think at this point, right? Like Clone Wars happened, Rebels happened, but then Clone Wars came back, so it was like more recent than Clone Wars. Resistance happened and it's gone. Bad Batch is happening, and then there's going to be Tales of the Jedi. Like as you look at animated series, Rebels
yeah.
is going like deeper down in the list to get to. So it's like if it's not the immediate thing, it gets left behind sometimes.
Right. And that's how I missed out on the Jedi Temple Guard mask and the saber because I was like, oh, those will be there. It was like the early days of Galaxy's Edge. That'll
Mhm.
be there for a while. It's totally fine. Except it wasn't.
I don't know. And then you pay a
And I
fortune
missed it.
on eBay and like the
Yeah.
secondary market. No, it's too much. I still haven't even gotten those pins that I was talking about them ages ago. And you want to write something down and then you
Yeah.
find the thing and it's like, oh, I never did that. And it's like, oh well, at some point. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on my list. I keep saying I have to go to Her Universe and get new shirts. I'm wearing the same damn. I've worn this shirt 3 times on the show already. I think because I made all my Star Wars T-shirts into one of those big blankets, and so
Yeah.
now I'm like out of T-shirts. And it was right before we started this show, which was so stupid. So
Perfect
I need to
timing.
get. I was like, oh, I'll buy all new merch, and then I've just been slacking on that. That's always how it goes.
David says Star Wars Rebels Sears Christmas catalog.
That
I cannot
that could be a
agree
fun
with
little
you more.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
We've
Ah,
got sort of a red and green theme happening in the graphic today with all the
yeah.
swirls and everything. We're watching some really good episodes tonight. I don't think that these usually come up in like the must-watch lexicon for Star Wars Rebels. Like the Occupation and Kindred are like it's not the season premiere, it's not a mid-season finale, it's not like an episode where anyone really important dies. Like it's not one of those, but they are quality episodes, both of
And they're
them.
still important. Like they're
Yeah.
definitely not filler episodes. And
No.
that's what I love about the series, you guys, because none of it is filler. It's
Yeah.
either fun or it's ultimately part of the grand scheme of things. It's very smartly written.
And that's I think what most of season 4 gets us to is like this is all
Hmm.
building toward the eventual liberation of Lothal while also building the bigger rebellion, which is why we're focusing in on these 2 episodes. I do love though that Kanan and Hera's kiss made the graphic because it
Thank
really is
you.
like a Rebels moment. It has nothing to do with Andor August because I don't think we're going to see Hera in Andor. I just don't think we are.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I was waffling back and forth on it. I feel like you keep her in Ahsoka in a
Hmm.
small way, and she could be in Andor. I'm not saying she can't. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I
I
think the
think there
Vegas
might be
odds on
a
that is going to come
hologram.
down.
I'm
That'd be
hoping
cool.
for a hologram at least.
Yeah. Well,
Just a
she was
smidge.
audio. She was voice checked in Rogue One,
Hmm.
so she's probably
And we saw Chopper
closer.
kind of put her
Yep.
across the screen too. So.
So there's precedent. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not impossible, and in fact, like it's we know for a fact that she's like close to it.
Hmm.
And actively working with Mon Mothma and everyone. This is set a little before Rebels, of course, the
Right.
Andor show. But even still, like I think that they're going to keep her in Ahsoka so as to not confuse like the collection of characters.
Now, I may have messaged Mark in a total freak out earlier this week because our beloved Natasha Liu Bordizzo celebrated her 28th birthday this week. Happy birthday to our Sabine. Um, and she shared on her Instagram stories a signed poster from the entire cast and crew of the Ahsoka show, but it's Sabine's helmet and it says, Star Wars Rebels, Sabine.
Yeah,
And it's signed by everybody. Like Dave Filoni did an incredible sketch of her as Sabine. But if you look really closely, it says happy birthday, Natasha, and heart Vanessa. And I'm like, that looks awful lot like Vanessa Marshall's signature.
it did. I didn't want to get your hopes up because when I looked at it and compared it online to Vanessa
Yeah.
Marshall's signatures, and I've seen a lot of them from trading cards and whatever else,
Yeah.
it did look like her signature.
That's why I
So
brought it up. I did my
yeah,
research and I went up and looked
yeah.
at my signed bust and I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Right. Yeah. Right. You have
so
one in your collection. You know what it looks
yeah.
like. And
But
being the
it was just
premier,
so cool.
Rebels experts of the channel. I was like, we should know if this is happening. And it certainly seems like it, but was she just there? Was she doing voiceover? Is she actually playing Hera?
Is
I'm
she
still in
doing
the camp
something
that
else?
yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
still in the camp that I don't think she's playing Hera the same way. I don't think any of the voice actors are playing their live action counterparts other than Katie Sackhoff.
Right.
I'm gonna dig my heels in on that one
Okay.
and like just go down that road. I'm gonna go down with that sinking ship, whether it's true or not. And I'm just gonna fan cast, or not even fan cast, but like actually cast in my mind who I think are gonna be the live action counterparts. Like I'm gonna go out now and say Thrawn is Matt Smith. Like I'm gonna do
Really?
it. I'm gonna make that bet now. So
That
and
would
that's
be
Ahsoka.
amazing.
Yeah, I think so. If for the Ahsoka show, Matt Smith is Thrawn. Like, go for it. By the way, I have no info, and if I did have info, I'd be like fired immediately. But like, I want him. I think he's a great fit. I think it makes
Oh
sense.
yeah.
It's been a rumored. Like, I'm
And
in.
he's got that voice, like that
Yeah,
haunting, like very similar to Lars Mikkelsen's voice,
yeah.
very cunning. And watching him on House of the Dragon this week, it's just like, dude,
See, I
I
haven't
can
started
totally see
watching
it
that
happen.
yet. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Oh,
I'm gonna wait a few episodes. I don't want to
it's
get
very,
into it and be disappointed.
it's
And so
very
I was like,
bloody.
yeah,
It's very throne politics and very bloody. But getting back to it, Matt has
mhm,
that look.
yeah,
And I feel like where he was left out of the sequel trilogy, it's
yeah.
entirely possible.
We all thought he was going to be in episode 9. That rumor
Yeah.
was wild. It
Well,
was
he was
wild.
cast and they just
Yeah.
cut him.
I think
So
they
it's,
recorded with him too. Like he
yeah.
wasn't just cast, but I believe that there were scenes filmed. I don't know that for sure. But I, I wonder what that could have been. He was going to be young Palpatine or something. I don't know. Uh,
Dr. Thrawn.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love that. Matt Smith is great. He picks ever since he became the Doctor and became famous enough to then pick his roles. He's only picked interesting stuff. Like he does weird things.
Even
Like
Morbius?
I'm. I mean, he wanted to be like a weird little villain, right? Like
Yeah.
I get that,
Yeah.
and
Sorry.
I know it's true though. Morbius was terrible. I
Yeah.
finally did see it, and I was like, oh, this is disappointing because like I love a villain protagonist story, but this just ain't it.
No.
Yeah, Matt Smith was
Sony,
good though. So
yeah. You know, he's acting his ass off literally
yeah,
in House of the Dragon. So if you're not watching it, you should be watching
I'm
it.
gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna
The
wait
Whovian in you
to
needs
see
to watch
that
it.
it doesn't fall off a cliff before
Well,
I
they
start
gave it a
watching.
season 2 already, so
Yeah, that doesn't mean
meanwhile,
anything.
I'm over here on my fourth rewatch of The Sandman, hoping to God Netflix gives it a season 2 because I love that show. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
I've been
agree.
invested as a show since Rebels, actually. So
Really?
this is a
Oh.
huge, awesome show. The cast is brilliant. Neil Gaiman just
Hmm.
guides the story. It's beautiful. It's scary. It's fun. It's just, it's everything you want from a fantasy epic. And
I
11
agree with that.
episodes.
It was a spectacular watch. See, for
Yeah.
me, it was the only thing that's come close to Rebels for me personally has been WandaVision.
Yeah.
I was obsessed. Like, and I
Mm,
think also there was something about that timing and the pandemic and
the
just
mystery.
yeah, and the unraveling. And like, that was when I really got into New Rock Stars and,
Yeah.
Eric Voss and that whole team. And,
Love them.
um, heavy spoilers and, Screen Crush and all of the
Screen
other
Crush.
wraparound
Yeah.
content. Like I was telling someone was like, "Oh, what do you watch on TV?" And I was like, 5 different YouTube channels, and I was like going through the
Same.
list. I was like, "What did New Rockstars put up today?" And I watched RuPaul's Drag Race, and there's wraparound content for that. So like, what did Mira
Yeah.
Mangle have to say about last week's episode of RuPaul? Like, it's truly the wraparound content
Hmm.
to the content, which is where we exist now. We're wraparound
Yes.
content. We're just not current. There will be wraparound content
There
to
will be.
current stuff,
Yes.
which
We'll
is
get there.
yeah, which I'm realizing now. I'm looking at the time. We probably need to start our watch so
Yeah.
we end on time for everyone because we're doing
Right.
a double tonight again. It's almost always a double. So season 4, episode 5, The Occupation. Everyone, cue up your Disney Plus. We're going to give you a 5-second countdown.
All right. Everybody ready? Oh, yay. David really likes The Sandman. He's only a few episodes in, but he likes it. I promise
That's
you, it gets
good.
even better.
Yeah, season 1 is the worst one. The rest get better.
Yeah. So on the 5-second countdown, we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
So again, we picked these episodes because we are deep into Andor August. This is actually technically our last episode in August for Andor August, and then we get into the and then
And then
some.
some.
Yeah, which is very exciting. So we're basically using Andor August as a lead up to the Andor series, which debuts on Wednesday, September 21st. So still almost a month away. Like we're still
Mhm.
like a little ways out. But we're picking episodes from Rebels that directly tied to the building of the rebellion and showcasing characters that we know are going to be in Rebels or will be in Andor or suspect will be in Andor. So Mon Mothma is prominently featured in one episode, and we also see like Yavin 4, which we're flying up to right now. Which how good does Yavin look, right? Like
So lush. Love
it's
it.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's so well done. It really feels like a New Hope territory in this episode.
Yeah. And Ezra's pretty shook because he's having dreams of people on Lothal. And old Joe, who is the proprietor of the local pub and
Yep,
a
the
friend of
Cantina
his,
owner.
yeah, and Ryder right here, Ryder Azadi. Um, uh-oh,
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
is where you see him here.
and the communication being cut down is definitely an ominous sign. And his dream, Ezra's dreams about his dream about old Joe ends up being pretty ominous too.
Mm,
But the what I love about season 4 is that it brings us back to Lothal. Like season 1 is all Lothal all the time. And then
mhm.
season 2, as they join part of the larger rebellion, they sort of branch out further into the universe, fly around a lot of other missions. Season 3, they spend a lot of time on Chopper Base. They're hiding from the Empire. Season 4, they directly go back to Lothal and they're like, we're going to liberate this planet. We're forming our own tiny rebellion. And it's what Ezra's talking about right here with Mon Mothma. The people of Lothal need him. I mean, so do a lot of other people, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of people need help in the galaxy, and that's sort of the push and pull of what they're up
Mhm.
against right now. Is like they're not really capable of taking on the Empire right now, but they do feel like they're capable of going to help on Lothal. At least Ezra does.
Absolutely. And I love how the Ghost Crew and even Vizago and Callus want to join in and help him
Yeah.
because it's like if one of us needs help, all of us are here, and that's
Mhm.
the point of the rebellion.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in our listicle for next week. The very our favorite moments of building the rebellion within Star Wars Rebels. So we've put together like a pretty big list of like all
Yeah.
these things that happen over the course of the 4 seasons. But you'll see a lot of it like in this particular episode. Like the cast of characters in here is like incredibly diverse. So Sakatra Vizago, right? Like criminal element, someone they sort of have a run in with in season 1, who's now like aligned with them. The puffer pigs are back, which introduced in the Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian episode. They helped
Absolutely.
Lando, apparently, helped Lando make his fortune. So, like, Rebels is responsible for that too. Of course, the cast of the Ghost, the Mon Mothma, her people, and then all these other like associated like little characters on Lothal that we see start joining in with Ezra. Like they fall in line behind Ezra, and that's how the rebellion forms. It's kind of amazing.
Clone humor. Uh, poor Zeb. Zeb can't go near the puffer pigs because he keeps shaking them, like
I
scaring them till they inflate. And Rex is like, well, at least your face is unique.
love this one.
Me too.
Callus thinks he's going to be in charge of the ghost, and it's like you're certainly not.
Yeah. Oh, face.
I
More
do love
clone humor.
my hot Callus over here. This is a great little team up. I would love to see like
Yeah,
more of Callus and Rex. Like that would be an interesting dynamic because they both fought for the same army, just at different time periods.
right.
A Republic um, clone trooper and then an Imperial officer. It's a just different time period, but it really was the same side. And now they're both rebels. Interestingly enough,
And their Lothalian garb.
love this. Oh my god, these constant. Okay, I gotta give you some behind the scenes tea from my time at
Chopper
Top.
is losing his mind at laughing at them right now, and I love
They
it.
look so ridiculous,
They
right?
do.
Like
Yeah.
So we saw character models for season 4, and I saw these pictures, and I was like, "What the hell is happening here? This is amazing." Um, and then in the same episode, we were given special access to this episode because it includes the wanted posters. And so the
Yeah.
wanted posters, when I saw them, they were like, "Oh, here are the season 4 wanted posters," and I, much like Ezra when he sees it in the episode, was like, "What the hell is this? These are photos from season 1." And they were like, "That's the point. The Empire doesn't know what they're up to. So
You
they're
pulled an
look
Ezra.
I did. And then I saw it happen in the episode and I was like, ah, like, when you're too close to it and, it was very that like,
Yeah.
and then we also saw their disguises. So we ended up putting the wanted posters into a product at Tops. It was in like the Galaxy set that we did.
Yeah.
So it was as like an insert of like artwork from Rebels, which was very cool that I was able to get those in there. But I have a set of the wanted posters because they just look amazing.
So
Um,
cool.
but the them in their disguises, I wanted to do. I wanted to do a whole Rebels card set, and we could talk about that another time. What my plan was, but
That would
I
have
was
been
gonna put in.
perfect.
I believe me, I tried, and it was just not gonna. We weren't gonna not at the end of Rebels. Like there just wasn't a market there for me to be able to do a final collection, unfortunately. But I wanted alternate costumes and like various looks, and like these ridiculous looks from the final season of them in disguise are just like the greatest things I've ever seen.
I
And I'm
seriously want to
cracking
put them
up.
on the next card set I work on. Like
I know.
Zeb's hat alone deserves like a puzzles card set. Like,
It's so nuts. Ezra's helmet is like the most normal, and he still looks
yeah.
insane. Even
Yeah.
even Sabine with her like black hair and everything.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Hera looks like some like goth girl teenager. I don't know
Yeah.
what's
Why is
going
she the
on.
goth girl? Like,
Yeah, it's
wow.
so nuts with little spiky things. It's so insane. Um, but yeah, no, I love everything about
But
it.
they didn't repaint Chopper. Like, it's the
That's
one
the
thing that
weirdest,
they
the one
didn't
thing.
paint Chopper for.
It doesn't make any sense. I do love the
So,
puffer pigs coming back though. This was another one of
yeah.
those moments that it should be telegraphing the finale to us, and we missed it.
And the crates, those are the crates that they use at the creature shop in the marketplace at Galaxy's Edge
Mm,
for
I forgot
everything. And
about
that's
that.
what I love about it. It's like consistency and it's
Yeah,
little rebelizing up the universe. And
yeah.
so good.
We're a
And you can
lot
buy
of.
puffer pigs at that creature stall. So
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh,
yeah,
see, I gotta go back. I feel like my
they
trip
make
in
crazy
March was
noises
just
though.
subpar compared to like now the character meet and greets are back, and I feel like we
Yeah.
rushed through everything too. It's just one of those where I'm like, oh, I gotta go back now.
Well, I'm going for my Return of the Jedi birthday. So you guys are more than welcome to come.
Tell me when, and I
Yes.
will see if I can make it out there.
Sweet.
That would be really fun. It'd be great to go as like a Cantina family and do like
Yeah.
a little walk around. I mean, Jeff is out there, so at some point, if we are, we'll try to. Oh, you're gonna go West Coast, or are you gonna go
I'm gonna do both.
do both?
That's the
Okay,
plan. Like save some
nice.
money and hit both coasts and yeah.
Oh, interesting. Sherry is saying that Hot Callus. They were saying maybe Jensen Ackles could play him. He's
That
on
would
The
be
Boys right
cool.
now, and he's doing really well, but he's not British, right? Like
Right, but he looks good with a beard. He looks callousy with a beard. And there's those wanted posters.
water posters. Oh, I got the Sabine one. I was like, that's her season 1 hair. I was so angry. I was so angry. And I was like, oh, it works in the show. Of course it does. Everyone at Disney licensing must have thought I was insane because I remember calling them being like, these can't be accurate. Like these are the season 1 character models on these wanted posters. And literally she told me, she's like, that's the point.
Yeah.
It's like, so stupid. Um,
Actually, they changed Chopper and kind of made him like a um dozer kind of figure. So
did they tweak him slightly? I missed it.
yeah, they gave
Yeah.
him like a bulldozer front end
Oh,
and he's got like a backloader kind of thing. So
we need another listicle of like Chopper's favorite disguises. Um, okay, so here we are. This is Joe's. So we're walking into Joe's pub, for lack of a better name. And obviously Ezra and Sabine like are kind of stuck now. They're hoping to find him. It's now run by the Imperials. This is like a great indication of what a fascist society looks like, right? Like
yeah.
it used to be a bar owner, and it's now military only, run by the fascist government. And do you recognize the bartender?
Mm.
He was
If
in our
he's Inquisitor
he was
listicle.
in our Empire Day watch along.
Mm-hmm.
So, where was his name? Baron Valen
Alan
Reuter.
Ruder.
Yeah. he's actually like a disgraced pilot. So apparently this is what happens when you mess up too. It's like now you got to go run the bar. You used
Yeah.
to be an amazing pilot, and now it's like, yeah, I love Ezra with this. Oh, wow.
He's dressed like Ryder. I'm sorry, but he is. I think he borrowed Ryder's hat.
Yeah. I do like that outfit though.
Oh
Like if
yeah.
you're able to turn that into live action with like that kind of collar situation, that's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And then I did so.
And it's also Dante Bosco's birthday today.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yes.
that's Jaikel, right? Yeah.
Jai Kel.
Yeah. So I recognized the character when I was rewatching and forgot his name. And then I was like, he's here for like the whole rest of the season, too. So
Hmm.
once Jaikel, the kid who we met in season one, Ezra helped break him out of the Imperial Academy and breaking ranks. That was a great episode. We get to see Ezra go undercover. He's training with other like cadets at the academy. He frees Jaikel. Jaikel has been on Lothal and is part of the resistance and is going to help Ezra and Sabine escape, meet up with everyone. He remains in the series for quite a while. It's one of those things
Hmm.
where, like, I think this is how we talk about rebellions being formed. You meet one person, you make an impact with that one person right there at the individual personal level, and then he's now part of the cause. And that's how you build your team.
Kanan and Hera getting their alone time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, that's very sweet. The
no
missed kisses,
smooches.
the
No
missed kisses kill
smooches.
me.
Oh, yeah. I remember just sitting on the couch when that happened and going, "Oh, come on.
I know because
Seriously?"
they're married. They do have their own rooms though on the ship, and I think
Yeah.
that just makes sense. I mean, you need two bedrooms. Like it's also a ship. Like it's a functional ship.
Yeah.
So and they're not legally married, which I think we talked about, but like they're married. Oh yeah, old Joe's considered a traitor.
Oh,
I like that he has his little picture up there of like who he was.
this is
Back,
me in my
yeah.
glory days.
Oh wow.
Jai to the rescue.
Yeah. And so he's the same age as Ezra, which means he's also the same age as Luke and Leia. So he'd be a
Right.
little young to be in the Andor show, but people related to him or connected to him in theory could pop up in Andor. But I think there will also be characters like him, people who sign up for the Imperial Academy who have second thoughts, who need to be
Yeah.
rescued, who need to be extracted. Um, if Cassian is able to just walk his way in there and do whatever he wants, he may be able to help people get out too.
That would be really cool to see.
Yeah. Oh, there were some of the propaganda pictures too. We put
Yeah.
those in a set as well, and I'm forgetting where they ended up, but like the Rebel propaganda stuff. Oh, it was in the original Rebels trading card set that we did in
Yeah.
2015. There was like
Which I would
propaganda
have
pictures.
loved to do, but I didn't join until 2018, I think was my first set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know Joe did some, and those were cool to see, but
Yeah, that was a small set we did because there wasn't a hobby box. There was retail, but it still had
blasters.
sketch cards. Yeah, and there were blasters with sketch cards. Um,
Cool.
I really wanted to do a hobby set of Rebels that covered the entire 4 series and do the base set as the story. And basically every episode would get a base card. And then there'd be character inserts. But then I went back and forth and I was like, oh, you could do a whole character roster set, but then you miss out on the moments. Like, it's like, how do you best organize this? I thought the story was the best way.
Yeah.
But then but then if you only do character inserts, there are too many characters. And like, autographs from everyone. And I wanted to do like Fulcrum medallions with all the characters who play
Oh, that would have been
Fulcrum,
so cool.
but there's just so many things to dive into in this. Like, it's a lot. Oh my God,
Well,
Zeb looks so ridiculous.
he does. Oh my God. That head piece makes his ears look ginormous. And so yeah, see, he's got like a little dozer thing on the front, like he's a
Yeah.
loader.
Yeah, straight out of Aliens. Oh my God, Hera's outfit is by far the most, like, I don't know who came up with this, but
She's so goth,
Yeah.
it's not funny. And I think that's why they picked it, is because it's so least like her. Like
Yeah.
you expect that out of Sabine, like very punk rock look, but
Right.
that headpiece is killing me.
So these are and so they're death troopers, which of course we saw in Rogue One. And they're all over season 4 of Rebels. We see them quite frequently because they're often with Thrawn. So we see them in season 3 as well.
Right.
This is great that there's like an underground connectivity. I believe they run into one of Sabine's markings also to help them along the way. So
Right.
Sabine's still leaving an impact around
But it's
Lothal.
not her leaving the mark. It's
Yeah,
inspired by her.
exactly.
That's what's really cool. It's like, okay, you guys started this fight and they're continuing it for you. I'm sorry, Zeb. I can't stop laughing at it.
There's a conversation that comes up in one of the episodes. I forget where in season 4 about how they're constantly sort of brought back to Lothal, like the whole crew of the Ghost, and has and as Hera says like, oh well, it's Ezra's homeworld, and Kanan's like, we were here multiple times before we met Ezra, and we still keep coming back here. Like we are being brought here, and it's like all the paths are coming together, right? Like these 5 like play such an important part on this planet, and this planet's super important as we find to learn like to the Emperor in particular toward the end of the series.
Right. And it's more than just Ezra. It's the Force, the will
Yeah.
of the Force. And you'll see when they get to the temples,
Yeah.
it's a big deal. And there's a reason why they're here.
I remember there's a line from season 1 when Minister Tua is, sort of negotiating with the Ghost about them helping her escape because she knows she's going to be killed. She wants to defect, and she's like, "I know the real reason that the Empire is here. It's nothing to do with like a factory. It's much more nefarious. And it involves the Emperor himself." And she said
Hmm.
this, and I was like, "Well, that could be a lie, but also like, why would they introduce that if they're not going to pay it off?" They paid it off 3 seasons
Huge.
later.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
meet the Emperor like several times actually toward the end of the series, which is
Right.
incredible. Which I was waiting for because they kept building the villains, right? We get one Inquisitor, and then we get multiple Inquisitors and Vader, and then we get Thrawn, and then we eventually get the Emperor. Like that's like going up the Mortal Kombat like towers, right? Like that's pretty impressive.
Zeb's kind of cold right here. Like, didn't you grow up in a sewer? Like, kind of making fun of this street rat status when,
Yeah,
you know, I get it. He's just joking around with him in a way, but, this is hard for Ezra. Like,
yeah,
Lethal's literally on fire.
yeah. It was like smog around the planet when they pulled up. Like that was really tough to see.
Yeah.
Not that Lethal has ever looked great. Even in season 1, they talk about this in the Rebels recon of the whole series finale, with like family reunion and goodbye, about how there are no blue skies on Lethal from the entire time we see the planet, but it gets worse throughout. And then
Mhm.
finally, when we cut to the coda at the very end, the sky is blue. So the planet just keeps getting worse throughout the time of the series. But yeah,
Yeah.
it looked gross when they pulled up. I was like, oh man, like this looks like Mustafar.
Yeah. Like, Lethal is not supposed to be on fire. There's no lava
Mm-mm.
pits on Lethal.
No.
David says in regards to Zeb's helmet, that is like a Planet of the Apes helmet. And that's exactly why I keep laughing, because it makes him look awful apish.
I like everyone working together here, even in their ridiculous costumes. That's a photo, right? Get a photo of
Yes.
everyone in their alternate
Like
costumes. That
Charlie's Angels
oh,
and
love it.
Chopper's Angels, I should say.
Chopper's Angels. Oh man, that could be our group if we do like a big cosplay thing of sorts. Chopper's Angels. Absolutely. I'll get my
Yeah,
Ezra saber.
I'm
So
down.
I would definitely do Ezra more so than Kanan, I think, for me. Like I think I'd fit that. I have the hair that sort of goes more Ezra.
Yeah, you're
Um,
you're you're definitely Ezra.
yeah.
You're a badass. I can see it.
So just just and I'll bring my kitty, talk to the animals. So
Loath Kitty.
yeah. This is cool. This is a good fight.
Way to go.
Mm,
Oh no.
there we go.
Rider to the
Ryder Azadi,
rescue.
who
See, I
I
told you
mean
Ezra borrowed his hat.
he we meet him in season one also. And I mean, we meet a lot of these people in season one, and then they bring him back for season four to help close the loop here. He's super important and plays a critical role in the final episodes. I'm such a fan of his character because he's the former governor of
Yeah,
Lothal, who then got ousted by Minister Tua. And of course, like Price is now really the big villain that he'd be fighting against. We
right.
get to
And
see in the next episode we watch.
there was a little bit of like, oh my God, is he a traitor kind of thing? Is he gonna
Mm,
turn them in?
yeah.
But thankfully that didn't turn out to happen.
Yeah, I like that whole fake out. I was watching Star Wars Explained do their breakdown because he was doing season four recaps like right after they came out back when they were airing, 4 years ago or whatever. And he was like in that episode where um, Ryder is talking to Price about turning over the rebels. He's like, it's a setup. Oh wait, is it not? Is it? He said he was genuinely like confused and was not sure which way it was going to go, and because we felt it was handled well.
Yeah,
Which Alex knows everything, and he is on top of stuff. And he was like, "This was handled really well because like I figured it was a setup, but then I was like, wait a minute, he could also really be working that angle, and then it turned out it was a setup." But he just thought the whole thing worked well, and it does. Like I rewatched it after watching his little recap, and I was like, yeah, this episode holds up. That whole like last five episodes of getting to the finale really, really works. They stuck the landing so well in this show.
they really did. And
Yeah,
it was
Clancy Brown
everything.
plays
Oh,
Ryder Azadi. Yeah.
he goes from Mr. Krabs to Governor Ryder Azadi. It's brilliant. I would love to meet him.
He never does the con circuit. He's one who like it's hard to find him one on the con circuit, but also just his autographs are really hard to come by also.
Right.
Not a lot out there. And he never signed for Tops.
Wow.
Yeah, the entire time we had the license, and we were chasing him for a few different things, but we never got him. He's Hellboy. He's done a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few people that were just like not into it, and that's fine. Yeah. All right, guys. I thought that was a stellar look at season four of Lethal and like
Right.
what it means to be part of this rebellion. Like they're literally running through sewers hoping not to die. Like this is the situation that we're in. They're in ridiculous disguises, trying not to be killed by the Empire. So things aren't
Yeah.
going great. I'll be honest. Like they were lucky to survive landing and like getting where they needed to go. Like they didn't achieve anything really. Like they're like,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
even Ryder is disappointed. Like he expected the whole rebellion to
yeah,
come help free Lothal, and Mon
yeah,
Mothma just sent them. So he's like,
yeah.
"What? Really? What?"
Yeah, I will
So
say it's a heavy hitter cast, right? The Mandalorian who knows how to wield the dark saber, two
yeah,
Jedi, a Lasat, and like the
ace
murderest
pilot.
of and the murderest of bots. Like I think
Yes.
we got a good crew, but I'd be
Yeah.
pissed too. I was like, you're supposed to send me 100 men. Like, what are we doing here?
No, but I can also understand because if there's anybody that's really good at infiltrating, rescue, and escape and
Yeah,
just completely foiling the Jedi plans, it's the Ghost Crew.
exactly.
So
And we're actually gonna skip over a little bit of that. We're skipping
yeah.
one episode, but it will feel like relatively seamless. We're gonna jump into Kindred. So this is season four, episode 7, and we should do a 5-second countdown for that one.
Right. This episode is you see Kanan kind of getting into what his role is supposed to be towards the end of the series. And it's kind of like, and if you know how it ends, this episode's beginning is kind of like
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit.
it is
So
telegraphed.
yeah. And it's also a really sweet moment between Hera and Kanan. So
Yeah,
we're gonna start on that. So
great.
get your episode queued up and we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. It's that blue sky covered with smoky clouds.
So in the episode that we're skipping, um, it's the TIE Defender. So the TIE Defender program is what's happening on Lothal. That the people of Lothal are trying to prevent the Empire from completing this project. We skip over the episode where they basically shoot down the TIE Defender prototype and they steal the hyperdrive. That's really all you miss in that episode. It's actually a great episode, but it doesn't fit like the thematic we're going with today. Again, we'd end up watching the whole damn series. That's the concern. So we wanted to skip that one and get straight to Kindred because the ending resolves that sort of like mini conflict right there. But the interesting thing about the TIE Defender program is that essentially it was in competition with the Death Star for funding, resources, time, in the eyes of the Emperor and Tarkin. And as you know, Tarkin was manipulating Krennic around the Death Star, and he's manipulating Thrawn around the TIE Defender and sort of, I guess, pinning them against each other is probably the best way to describe it. And then the TIE Defender program was down in flames. And so Thrawn is pissed because he doesn't lose. Like, even when he loses, he still wins somehow.
He doesn't lose. He wins.
He does not lose, right? So he's now pissed at Governor Price, who, by the way, is in the helmet. We talked about this the other day, the AT-AT helmet. Governor Price in the AT-AT helmet is like the biggest thing.
Oh my God. Can Danilo Nova make one of those just so I can...
I would love to do an AT-AT helmet. That'd be cool.
So cool.
Yeah. I have to see. I don't think there's any on the back order. It's also a tough helmet. I remember when I was going through like the list of just general things that I think you need for like a Star Wars catalog. Obviously you need a Stormtrooper helmet and a variety of other things. I believe the AT-AT helmet was on there, but I feel like there's something about that helmet. I gotta say.
I would love if you did like one of these Scout Trooper helmets, but you painted it up like Ezra's.
So one of the cool things, if we do like any type of molded helmet like this, paint variations are not a problem. So I want to do a Force Awakens. We're doing a Force Awakens Stormtrooper. I want to do the fin with the bloody hand.
Yeah.
So we're looking into that. It's not confirmed yet, but like that's the kind of thing where like once we nail the initial mold and sculpt and everything, a paint variation is usually not a problem.
Yeah. Follow the white Loth cat.
Yeah.
I love how Zeb's like, you and your Loth cats.
And wait for it, things get weird. This is one of those episodes where the wildlife comes into play again. Interestingly, the wildlife was a big factor in the prior episode with the puffer pigs.
Yes.
And it's going to happen again, only in like much more serious, like force connected ways.
And the fantastic Warwick Davis.
Yep.
It's Rook.
This is the debut episode for Rook. Which is very late in the series to be adding new characters. And people were wondering for the longest would Rook appear because he's all over the Thrawn books.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't have Thrawn without him.
Yeah, I didn't realize just how I read books like so long ago. And then I was like, oh right, Rook is not around, right? And then when they said he was coming to Star Wars Rebels, I was like, oh, we're running out of episodes, man. Like I don't know where you're gonna put this dude. Yeah.
They make it work. David says, don't we see a reference to the TIE Defender program in the archives on Scarif and Rogue One? Yes, we do.
That's one of the project names, I think.
Yep.
They also talk about lightspeed tracking in the movie, which they use in episode 8, The Last Jedi. They're able to track them through lightspeed. That's a big deal. I feel like that's come up before as well. You should have shot him while I had the chance, man.
Bro. Personal space.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Yeah, you need, oh, there you go. You know he was a Jedi.
Whoa.
She has no chill. I still love in that prior episode when he was gonna do the Jedi mind trick. She was like, blast him! Like it was that fast. I love everything about
Governor She just Price. Wants everybody to die. Like just taking everybody out.
She's amazing. Yeah, so Zeb was overlooked in that whole situation. Look at that.
Let's leave him with the inept people to find it.
So in the prior episode, when the TIE Defender program, or when the TIE Defender prototype gets shot down, they steal the hyperdrive, and they want to get the hyperdrive back to Mon Mothma on Scarif, so they can get information on Scarif on Yavin, so they can get information about the program, because it's all about like fact finding right now. They think they're really concerned about this TIE Defender program. It's really like the big ominous thing hovering over Lothal at the moment. They have no idea about the Death Star, and they don't know that the TIE Defender program is actually going to get shut down. One because the prototype got shut down, but also Governor Price is going to blow up the refinery to kill Kanan in a few episodes. So the whole thing is going to go to hell
Yeah.
pretty soon. It's almost like the MacGuffin of season 4. Like, we have to shut down the TIE Defender program, and they're focused on like this thing, when like the
Yeah.
real problem is up here. It's like, oh, the Emperor is trying to make his way through the world between worlds so he can control all of time and space. Oh, and he was like looking for the Jedi Temple. And yeah, like and it's going to
It's always
manipulate
a deep
Ezra.
cover.
Yeah.
Always.
Which the TIE
It's
Defender
never
is
on
like,
the surface.
yeah. Like, I'd be scared of the TIE Defender alone. Like, that's a big enough problem without like those
Hmm.
larger things that are seemingly unsolvable.
Absolutely. Especially with someone like Thrawn, as ruthless as Thrawn piloting it
Yeah.
and leading the way for it. It's like,
We've got a good array of villains for season 4. Thrawn, Price, the Emperor, the other Imperials around them are like not the greatest. Rook is good, but there are a couple that are less stupid than the normal
yeah.
Imperial officers.
Right.
Um,
Looking at
they
you,
really,
Constantine.
yeah. Oh my God, the worst. Where I was just watching the Commander Sato, or the 0 hour, when Commander Sato like tries to push his way through, and Constantine like defies orders and goes after him and dies in the process. It's a whole thing. We're going to talk about that in our
Yeah.
listicle. But like, Constantine was the worst, the worst, the worst, the worst. I was like, how did this person become so high ranking in the military? Like, what were the standards here?
Very, very low. And Kanan asking Hera what she wants.
Yeah, this was weird. It's surprising to me that she didn't know exactly what she wanted. Like, I was surprised by the conversation here, because in my mind, they're already married and they're going to have like a normal life together after
I
all
didn't
this is
think
said
they
and
were
done.
married. Like I didn't they because she doesn't really say it. Like she keeps like she shows it, but she doesn't
Yeah,
really say it.
but she calls him love like early on.
Yeah.
Like, um,
But
yeah.
again, I don't know. I think they might have backtracked a little bit on that at least.
I never felt that they weren't husband and wife. Maybe not with that, like the certificate, but I never
Yeah.
felt that like they were trying to build a love story.
Yeah,
Like,
they
I
were like
always,
Han and Leia before we read like the new Scoundrels wedding book. But I think it was assumed and implied, and it just wasn't
yeah.
something that they actually did. So, but it's a good question because you know how Hera is so invested in the rebellion and so invested in destroying the Empire. And it's like, okay, well, great, but what are you gonna do when it's over?
Mhm.
Where do we stand?
What's
And I think that,
interesting too is usually the trope is the Jedi can't have attachments, and it's almost like Hera can't have attachments because she's so dedicated to the rebellion.
right?
That's very Han and Leia. Like,
Yeah,
Han will, if Han were going to place blame on Leia, it would be that she was always more dedicated to the rebellion than to him. And if
right.
Leia were going to place blame on Han, it would be that he was never serious enough about the really important things happening. And he was off
Exactly.
doing smuggling and whatever else anyway. So
Yeah.
like, they're actually, like, the more I think about it, they're very similar to Han and Leia. Like, since you said
Yes.
Han and Leia, it's been stuck in my head now, and now I want to do a show about that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Like character tropes within the Star Wars universe.
yeah.
Look
Well,
for it on.
yeah, you remember we talked about this a while ago, where it was like Leia, Padme, Rey, and someone was like, "This is the same character," and they went through like all the traits. It was, aside from being white with brown hair, it was like, are they strong? Are they independent? Are they leaders? Do they have skills above their station because they've done XYZ behind the scenes?
Right.
It was very that, and I was there. Now, I don't want to say that any of those characters are one dimensional, because they are not. They're fleshed out well within Star Wars, and they have a lot of screen time to do it with. But like, at first glance, they're all very similar. And it's because there's usually only one main woman character, and that's what happens. Like, oh, here we go. We finally get to kiss. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And he's apologizing because he didn't want to push her or
Yeah.
like make her make any hasty
And
decisions.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is how she got pregnant, obviously. It starts and stops there.
That's
In the
it.
Star Wars universe. So, because you never see anyone kiss. That's how Ben
Oh,
Solo was conceived during Empire Strikes Back, during that one
and
kiss. So, um,
poor
no,
poor Kanan sitting there like he's gonna pass out. Like, oh,
see,
oh.
that for me makes like little to no sense because in season one, in my mind, they're already at that point. Like, but it felt like something happened that drew them apart, and they're almost like
Right.
reconciling. Were they going through couples counseling behind the scenes and we don't know about it?
Chopper's the counselor.
Oh boy, um, I wouldn't trust him.
Well, to be honest, he's known both of them the longest. So
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
these
excited to see.
tanks. These tanks are
Yeah,
so cool.
this is the kind of stuff that I love. Like the Empire is coming, the Rebels don't know what they're gonna do. Ezra's like Wolf Wolf, done and
Love
done.
wolves. Ryder's looking at him like he's crazy.
Yeah, there's a great line coming up from Zeb. This is good. When it gets strange like this, it's a good thing. Like that could have been on the poster for the
Nailed
show.
it.
Yeah, it's so true because the rebels are so deeply connected to the planet, especially Ezra.
Yeah.
Um,
How many
that
people stayed alive so long?
yeah, that is a
Just in the
great line too.
force.
That should also be on the poster, right? How many people stayed
Right.
alive for this long?
Yeah.
Um, and Price, just super destructive, is like destroy the mountain. Like I've had enough of this nonsense.
Oh, girl. She's so hell bent on blowing things up. She never thinks of the bigger picture.
Yeah,
Like,
and here we
seriously.
go. There goes Hera getting out of here. I like this jump that she goes like through the little space station thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, construction sphere. I'm glad they put it in in the dialogue, but in the closed
Yeah.
captioning because like I couldn't remember what they were called. Oh, well, she just vaporized a bunch of people.
That was the holdo maneuver before it was the holdo maneuver.
Yep. We also kind of see that with Commander Sato. Like it's close.
Very close.
They plant those breadcrumbs, and it makes me think like Holdo would be Leia's age when that happened. She might have heard the story and
Yeah.
thought like,
Easily.
yeah, because Holdo outranks Leia and pretty much everyone in the Resistance. Like she's up there with like uh, Akbar and those guys. And I love that. Anything with Ezra and the Wolves, it's just love it so much.
He's learned so much from not being able to communicate with the animals to opening himself to the force and to reaching out in a positive way to get help.
Yeah. His powers have really grown and he trusts himself, right? Like this could be really scary. Like if I saw a real life wolf like this, no matter what else you've gone up against and
And
whatever
they're
war you're in,
growling at
like
you,
this is
Ezra.
horrifying. Yeah. They don't look thrilled to see you. That TIE fighter looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
The animation is stellar this season.
Like you can see the pores on their faces and the
Yeah.
shading. It's just incredible.
I almost wish they would go
So
back and
textured.
like not reanimate, but like overlay some new animation to the early seasons of Clone Wars. I know like we can keep the originals in its own form, but like I'd love to see like a slightly upgraded because that original show is now 20 years old, you know?
Yeah.
Like it could use a little help there. Same thing with the prequels. I think the prequels would really benefit from a little bit of upgrade in the special effects, and maybe like a little bit of a re-edit. Like there are some small things you can do to really like tighten the story in episodes 1 and 2, speed things along, and then some other deleted scenes we've heard about. Like I would love, like it's not George, right? So like
Yeah.
you know how he liked to tinker, but like Disney is constantly remaking stuff. You know, I think that's a worthwhile project to go back to the prequels, maybe even involve George and be like, hey, do you want to have a hand in re-editing these things? You know, or call it the director's cut. Like
Yeah,
or maybe there's like a new like final version. I don't know.
this is so cool.
The cave is really impressive.
And the little Yoda people. Which you'll see in a minute.
The worst in a picture of the wolves eating people was there.
Yeah, like mm. That's awful.
Yeah, they're gonna trash this whole um natural
Landscape.
landform. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I'm lost. My brain is putting again. Mondays are rough. Like it's the kind of thing where like I had a long day at the office too. There's like a million things going
Oh,
on, and we're trying to get like I'm like literally tracking shipping containers. And the
right.
Halloween season is upon us. This is gorgeous. The way they travel with the wolves with that
Oh my
blue
God,
light
right? And
looks like
it's in
hyperspace.
Ezra's eyes, like
Yeah,
he can see it. It's so cool.
them
And it's
stepping on that ground that kind of looks like World Between Worlds, but it's not.
but also like when he's traveling through hyperspace the with Thrawn and
Mhm.
the
The
space
Purgles,
whales, the
yeah.
Purgles. White love cat. They're
And,
so cute.
and everyone's just unconscious. Oh, we're good. Don't
Yeah.
mind us.
But he's like they're like half in the grass and half out of the grass. Oh, Kit Kat.
They were only thinking they were in the grass. That like they're in the cave.
Wow.
That wide shot was just because there's no cat there either.
Yeah.
It's so
Love
spooky.
it.
We could do a whole episode just dissecting those 30 seconds. It's so fascinating to think about the way the Force works, especially on Lothal, and the fact that it is a gateway to the world between worlds, which by the time we're watching this episode, we would not know about yet. It's coming up.
Right.
But like the way in which they've just traveled right now and where they are, like Sabine's gonna examine their location, and it is shocking.
I love how like the Loth wolves are just growling at them and it's like, okay, they're falling in line here.
Yeah,
Chill. Like, wow.
yeah. They were in the northern hemisphere and now they're in the southern hemisphere. Like this is the kind of thing where it's not hyperspace, but is a similar situation of how it's almost like teleportation or whatever, you know, through light speed somehow from one point of the planet to another. And it must be connected to the Force.
Yeah.
Jedi were drawn to this planet for maybe this reason, set up a temple here. The wolves are intimately connected.
And Kanan is communing with the white Loth wolf.
On those little pictures, you can see like a little lightsaber hanging off their belt.
Yeah. Look, it's a little Yoda.
Doom. So I didn't have my subtitles on when this first aired, and I just heard Doom, Doom, and I was like, oh, that's not good for anyone. And then Kanan, with the reveal of his name of being Caleb Doom, like this was a moment for sure.
Oh, I know. Now, now, does that mean the wolves know that he'll be joining the Force soon?
I think so. Yeah. It's definitely one of those moments where the puzzle pieces are starting to fit together, but it's also like not looking great for us, right? Like it's like, oh, Kanan's definitely gonna have to die. Peace and purpose.
Like it has
Yeah.
a purpose.
And Kanan mentions the same thing. The building the TIE factory is not the worst thing that's happening here.
Yeah. And not just stripping of the natural resources. It's ultimately against light and dark against each other.
Yeah.
But I think the wolf is also reminding him that his time is growing short and they have to act.
Yeah. Be decisive.
It's weird because he tells Ezra to back off when the wolves start growling, but Ezra kind of trusts in the force and goes forward.
Mhm.
And now he's here, like trusting in the force and going forward. So they're learning from each other.
And this ending shot is, I don't know why, it just has so much gravitas to it. Like Phoenix Squadron gets it done. There's a mission. Hera and the team goes out. They get it done. They bring it to Mon Mothma, and it's like we have a fighting chance at this. Like
Absolutely.
it's a moment. It's
And
like we're
also,
gonna win.
how awesome is her outfit?
I know. Good stuff. All right, what a double feature, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm ready to join the rebellion.
The Force
Um,
and Rebels is so trippy. So true, Dave. So
it is.
true.
They take one of the things that I think this show gets away with because it's a cartoon and uh gets to play in a space where there isn't as much scrutiny. Like a movie that's going out to theaters that is going to be required to make $700 million just to make its money back, and like a whole lineup of toys and everything else revolving around it. Like there's a lot of, I'm sure, oversight as to what you can and can't do. And with Rebels, aside from the fact that they need to ladder up to like the bigger things in season 4, they were given a lot of leeway to like kind of do what they wanted. Like those space whales are so nuts. Like who would
You
think?
cannot leave the pearls alone.
Yeah, no, the Purgles, they're wild. Like the Loth Wolves. Like Dave had a lot of creative freedom, it seems, to explore
Right.
those weird little things. Call back to things that were also weird in the Clone Wars. We're gonna see it when we, if and when we eventually watch like the World Between Worlds episodes.
Yeah.
The Mortis, the uh painting. Yeah. That 2D animation is insane. It's
Oh
so
my
good.
God. So well done. It looks
Yeah.
so cool. It's like it's just groundbreaking. And Dave is a nature lover. He cares about animals, and I think he's heavily involved in wolf conservations and things like that.
Yeah.
So having this be a focus of like, saving nature and saving the planet, and on top of like obviously defeating the Empire and starting the rebellion, it's so cool to see like how his interests and things that he's done before and other shows like Avatar, and having Jai Kel and Dante Bosco come back and be a part of it. It's just fun. Like
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever gotten anything like this since Rebels, to be honest with you. And we'll
Yeah.
see what happens with Bad Batch, but and
It's
on
definitely,
Ahsoka,
yeah, I think Ahsoka's probably our next closest because
true heir to
Bad Batch
Rebels.
feels like such, and it is a sequel to Clone Wars, but like the War of Clone Wars. They're like, and there won't be Jedi, right? Because they were all exterminated for the most part. So you're not going to get that same Jedi kind of feel or that mysticism. Like the Force feels missing in Bad Batch. Like the Force is dead. We're in like the dead part. The Shroud of Darkness fell in the prequels, but there was still the Force happening. Bad Batch is a military show.
Right. But
And
there are some Jedi sprinkled in,
yeah,
courtesy of Caleb
yeah.
too.
Oh, sure.
So
But like, yeah, Bad Batch is the A team, right? Is what Dave's
oh
saying.
yeah,
And
absolutely, Dave.
Rebels has so much mysticism, and I think we're gonna see. I hope we see a lot of that in Ahsoka. I think that'd be great. I think
I think
Andor is gonna have another situation though, where there's no Force, no lightsabers, no Jedi, no nothing. It's gonna be espionage and military, which I'm actually really looking forward to. I think it'll
yeah,
be something
absolutely. I
different.
mean, you can have the Force, and that's fine. You can have the Force being from the Skywalkers
Mhm.
or the Kenobis or anybody else, but I think we're missing more of the humanitarian aspect of the war, which I think Rebels brings a sprinkle of, but you
Mhm.
definitely see it in Bad Batch. You saw a glimpse of it in Kenobi when Tamora Morrison showed up
Yeah,
as the down on his luck clone trooper. Like it's that whole side of things. Like not only has it changed for Jedi who have had to be on the run, but it's changed for everybody in many different ways. And you learn what people have to do to survive.
yeah.
Yeah.
It must be a scary time as that government like switches over and then the
Mhm.
impact on everyone's lives. I hope Bad Batch tackles that more. Like what is the immediate um impact of that kind of system-wide change on the general population? We started seeing little glimpses of it in season one. I think they can go wild in season two. Now that a lot
Yeah,
of the setup is taken care of, that'll be really fun.
absolutely. And I kind of hope they get off Ord Mantell. Like it's cool to still take your orders and go out on like mercenary missions and things like that. But I want to see other places. I want them to experiment with helping people outside of, you know, being bounties on Ord Mantell.
Mhm.
So there's a whole wide galaxy to play in, and I can't
Oh
wait to see
yeah.
where it goes next.
And if that little scene that Jeff is referencing, the scene that they dropped, and it was intense. If that scene is an indication of the tone of the Andor show, which I think it is,
Was that the
I
one they
think
put in IMAX?
well, there was the IMAX one, but there was also one they put on YouTube like a week ago, and it
Yeah,
was
I
like it
saw
was
that
pretty
one.
quick. Yeah, it
It
was like
was
two
pretty
minutes.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
think so I didn't go see Rogue One this weekend. I should have, and I didn't.
Still wasn't anywhere near
Like
me. I
I
tried.
I think there was like a 10-minute like
Oh, wow.
first look or something. It was probably a mix of like behind the scenes, EPK, trailer nonsense, and then like
Yeah.
probably a scene. But I haven't seen anything pop up on YouTube or Twitter that had anything pirated. So I'd be shocked if there was like secretly 5 minutes of the show dropped and I didn't know about it. I feel like there would be headlines.
Yeah.
So
It'd be a
yeah.
big deal. And we'd be
Yeah.
seeing it other
I still can't
places.
believe we're it's 3 weeks away on Wednesday. Like it still feels like it's so far away.
It does, but a lot can happen in that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they'll be nice and bump it up a day or two sooner. I don't
I
know.
think if anything, we're just gonna get TV spot, TV spot, TV spot. And like my hope, I hate the 3 a.m. drop. Like the 3 a.m. or midnight Pacific is not prime time for shared viewing. And I miss appointment television. And I know that makes me sound like a dinosaur, but like I like the idea of tuning in Thursday nights at 8 o'clock as a country and watching the thing and then talking about it the next morning. Like if the show is dropping on Wednesday, but like Wednesday midnight or 3 a.m. Eastern time, and I have to wake up and go to work, I'm not staying up till 3 and I'm not waking up early enough to watch these episodes before I go to work. Like, so it really doesn't happen until that night. Like, just put it on at night. Either give it to me Tuesday night or not at all. Like, why isn't there live programming? Like, this is the kind of thing that makes me crazy.
I moderate for a collectibles company, and we have a spoiler group that is designated to the MCU, the DC, EU, and to Star Wars. So I have to get up at 3 a.m. and watch all the stuff because somebody will say something in the group and I'll have to moderate it
I'm
and
sure.
make sure it goes away for a week or 10 days, however it is.
Yeah.
So, but it's the plus side is I can survive a minimal amounts of sleep. The downside
Yeah.
is like people still want to ruin it for somebody else. So,
Oh, of course.
yeah.
I was the only thing I woke up early for was WandaVision. And then once we got to Falcon and Winter Soldier, I waited till that
Mhm.
night. And that became
Yeah.
my structure. But like WandaVision, I was up at like 6 a.m. to then watch
Oh,
it right before
yeah.
I then got ready for work. So
Because it
that was
was
the
like
thing.
so heavy in the mystery and you
Yeah.
wanted to know what it meant for the future of the MCU. And so I
Yeah.
feel
I don't
like,
think we'll ever get to that point again. Like there's nothing that's gonna top
oh,
the
I think this will. I really think
Andor.
Andor will. I
I mean,
think
I hope so. I have high hopes. This is actually the thing I'm most excited about, other than, well, I shouldn't say other than, it is the thing I'm most excited about, but the Tales of the Jedi I'm very excited about if and when
no,
that
those are
finally comes out.
shorts, right?
I thought they were full half-an-hour episodes. If they're just shorts, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah,
But
they're like 5 shorts for the first season. I'm sorry.
what are we doing here? What are we doing to animation people? Like,
I
just all right. I'm
yeah.
gonna have a meltdown if
I
we.
have
Um.
the new Star Wars Insider magazine and they kind of
Oh.
go into it a little bit.
Okay.
Um, what's upcoming for Star Wars TV shows and stuff. And they mentioned that in there. Let me find it real
Hmm.
quick if I get a second.
I'm sure the article is probably online somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, they mention it being like stuff to watch and episodes coming out shortly and all of that. So um yeah.
I like Star Wars Insider. We used to advertise with them when I was at Tops. You'll find if you go back, you'll see a bunch of my print ads back in the
Yes.
day.
Oh, I'm sure Joe has them all on the shelf. I can go digging through it, but it's
Oh,
just really
everyone's
cool
telling
to.
me they're shorts. I somehow missed the memo on that. Thank you guys for telling me. Now I won't be
Sorry.
disappointed. I'll cry about it tomorrow, but Um, I also think like that format lends itself to just go forever. There's like no reason to do. There's no reason to put it into a box of any type. Like it may start as shorts. You could do entire full episodes
Yeah, it's
if you're
right
gonna.
here.
Yeah. What does it say
Uh,
about Skeleton Crew? I don't know a thing about this show.
It says starring Jude Law as a yet to be announced cast of four younger adventurers. Star Wars Skeleton Crew will follow the journey of a group of lost children as they struggle across the galaxy to find their way home. Way home. Set after the Return of the Jedi during the Ahsoka Mandalorian timeframe, the series is executive produced by John Watts and Chris Ford with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Who the hell is
And
Jude
then
Law playing if it's about children?
he's probably an enemy character trying to stop the
Is and
kids from
it's
getting
live
home.
action? It's live
It
action.
it seems to be live action, but
Everything about this makes no sense to me. Like
yeah.
I do not know anything about Skeleton Crew, and there's something they are not telling us. I mean, there's a lot of things they're not telling us, but like
It's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's like the
I can't get my
teen
hopes
set.
up for anything anymore because we're never getting the Calrissian Chronicles. Like we're never getting this Lando show. Like it's never going to happen. Like Donald never signed on to begin with, so I don't know what they were
No.
thinking. Like
Yeah.
announcing that and then like not having the star locked in. They're certainly not
Yeah.
going to recast him, and Billy D can't do that show.
Yeah.
So it's
He might be able to narrate at the beginning for a certain point, but
if they did it 5 years ago.
yeah.
That's my concern is like Marvel's
Time
done it
is
a lot,
ticking.
but DC has done it a ton where they say
Yeah.
they're going to do something and then it's just wiped from the slate. And I was like, well, what happened to that project? I mean, never mind Batgirl like literally being erased. Like, I don't even want to get into that. Like, that could be we need an episode where it's like, what's
Still
pissing
bitter.
off Mark this week? And it's like, let's start at Batgirl
You
and
know
make
what
our way
really
down.
installs Mark's aluminum siding?
Exactly. This is really
So
like,
yeah,
I
I don't
truly,
blame you.
there's so much content and at the same time like things just
So
getting
yeah,
destroyed. Yeah.
it says Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, this new six-part series of animated shorts created by Dave Filoni will focus on untold escapades of Ahsoka Tano and Count Dooku, with 3 episodes focusing on each character.
Hmm.
Liam Neeson returns to provide the voice of Dooku's Padawan, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Star Wars Battlefront 2's Jodina Gavankar, love
Love
her,
her.
Iden Versio, in the classic video game will play Ahsoka Tano's mother.
That's very cool. That I had
So,
read. All right,
I
so
love Janina. I'm
3
excited.
individual shorts is an episode. What the hell are we doing? Like, there could be an episode about Dooku. There could be an episode about Qui-Gon. There could be an episode about Ahsoka. There could be an episode about Plo Koon. Like, we could literally have hundreds of episodes, and it could just run. And by the way, if this is a strategy of like we want shorts on YouTube for engagement and younger viewers, and to not be on the streaming service, like
Yeah.
to
Well,
have placement
that's
everywhere for
what
quick
the
consumption,
Young Jedi
yeah,
Adventures is for.
I'm
So
into that. I think that would
yeah.
be great. And then string them together for like a chunk to call it an episode
Right.
on D plus. But also, I want to see all of it. Like, you can't tell me you're doing an Ahsoka and a Dooku and nothing else. What's happening
Right.
here? So, oh my God. All right.
3 and 3. We'll make it happen.
Well, there better be hundreds. And all
For
right.
real.
We are way over time
Okay.
as I go down the rant list. But let's tell everyone what's going on next week.
Okay. So next week we'll have our listicle about major points in the rebellion and the birth of the rebellion with Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma and Commander Sato, Bail Organa, all the characters that we're going to see in Andor August and then some coming up in Andor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. That will be our first September episode of Andor August, and then some.
Labor Daber
Yeah,
episode.
that's right, the Labor Daber. And then so that's Monday. So join us for it'll be pre-recorded.
Right.
We'll flight it live at 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday, September 5th, which is Labor Day.
And I'll be in the chats because I have, other than packing, nothing much else going on that day. So
I will be away, so I will probably not be in the chat.
Yeah.
But Ashley will hold down the fort.
Yeah.
And then the following Monday, we're going to do our Wedge Antilles watch along, which I'm really excited about. I love Wedge. And then the week after that, Monday the 19th, is our Andor prediction show. And then the 26th is the discussion of what happens on Andor. So it's going to be wild. Andor September. So it's going to be really fun.
It's finally here, you guys. Yeah. The clock is ticking. We're getting down to Andor.
Well, we're going to say goodnight for tonight. and see you guys next week for our listicle on the great moments of the rebellion. Hope everyone has a wonderful Labor Day long vacation. Enjoy the time off, the end of summer, and then we'll continue our countdown to Andor next week.
Be safe, everybody. May the force be with you.